So, today we will study the thermal properties of solid. So, thermal properties means if you heat a system, if you heat solid, then what happens? So, any system have internal energy. If you supply dq amount of heat to a system, so its internal energy changes. Internal energy, say U is internal energy. So, its internal energy changes as well as it does some work. So, if increase volume by dV at pressure P, so this will be work done, and that energy comes from this heat energy supplied to the system, right. So, this is the basically first law of thermodynamics, Now, this internal energy is basically function of, if you take function of V and T. So, change of internal energy, it is del U by del T dt plus del U by del V at, this is at constant V and this is at constant T dV. So, this volume, constant volume. Okay. So, if we consider that volume of the system remains constant, there is no change of volume. So, there will not be work done, all energy will be stored as a internal energy. And what is internal energy? Internal energy basically this it is a potential energy and kinetic energy of the system. So, energy is supplied to the system, it will change the internal energy of the system in terms of the change of kinetic energy and potential energy of the system. So, at constant volume, if we keep this volume is constant, so then du, so this term dV 0, this term will go, so then dq will be equal to del U by del T. So, that energy, heat energy supplied to the system, it will change the energy, internal energy of the system for unit change of temperature. If due to this heat, if temperature of the system changes by dt, so this dq will be equal to this. So, due to change of internal, due to change of this temperature dt, what is the change of internal energy? So, that is the relation of external thermal energy to the internal energy of the system. Okay. So this at constant volume. So, this we can write dq by dt at constant volume, so this will go, so this will go. So, what is this? This is defined by one parameter. It is called heat capacity. This since at constant volume, so we write Cv. Okay. So, dq by dt at constant V, that is basically change of internal energy with temperature. Okay. So, this is the definition of heat capacity. So, what is heat capacity? So, you have a system to change 1 degree temperature, what amount of heat, thermal heat you need, or what amount of internal energy will change. Okay. So, that is called heat capacity. So, this is the heat capacity of the system, right. So, this heat capacity depends on the volume of the system, or mass of the system, size of the system, right. So, to make it independent of this size of the system, so if we define that for unit mass or for unit volume of the system, what is the heat required to change 1 degree temperature. So, then that is basically, if we divide by m, if we divide by m of this system. Okay. So, for unit mass, if we define, so then it is called specific heat. It is called specific heat, okay, of the system. So, if we define the amount of material, so which should be the independent of the system size, etc. So, it is all the time that is the either 1 gram or 1 mole of a system. So, here we will treat this as a molar specific heat, means for 1 gram mole of that material to change the temperature by 1 degree. So, this amount of heat is required at constant volume. Okay. So, that is the molar specific heat. So, just we will call as a specific heat. So, as long as we will not mention, so then if I speak about the specific heat, that is molar specific heat, means that system will contain Avogadro number of the atoms, Avogadro number of the atoms Avogadro number of the atom, right. So, that is n. So, we will take a system of n number of atoms, that is Avogadro number, and for that to change the temperature by 1 degree. So, we need the amount of heat, that is Cv. Okay. So, when we apply the heat to a system, and we need one parameter which express express about the express the thermal property of the system. So, that is the parameter, this Cv is the parameter. Some people, this other parameter Cp is there. So, that is at constant pressure. So, but in case of solid, this Cp and Cv there is no much difference. So, we will treat as a this both are same, similar, slight difference will be there, but it is not much. So, that is why we will just deal with this Cv. Okay. So, what is the importance of this specific heat? So, let us discuss. So, or what are the source which contribute to the specific heat? So, there are different source that Cv changes, this Cv changes with temperature or not. Okay. So, since it is related with the heat, dq amount of heat we are supplying to the system, and that system is having some change. What change? Its internal energy changes. Okay. So, internal energy changes, that is basically change of kinetic energy and potential energy of the system, right. So, whether that change is all the time it is same or it depends on temperature, right. Means a system is at a temperature T1, then to change T1 plus 1, what is the amount of heat for 1 gram mole? So, that is Cv. So, this is the amount, it is the some amount. Okay. Now, if my system is at T2, if I change by 1 degree, so this, so again this for change of 1 degree. So, what is the amount of heat required? So, this again Cv, right. So, Cv amount of heat, if you give the system's temperature will change by 1 degree. So, whether this Cv here and this Cv here are same or different, it is in fact it is different. So, this Cv depends on temperature, Cv depends on temperature. So, when we are giving Cv amount of heat to a system, to solid, right. So, what may happen? What may happen? So, its solid is made of lattice. So, or these atoms are arranged in the solid nicely. Now, when I will give this heat energy, Cv amount of heat energy to the system. So, what will happen? So, it may happen that these atoms in a lattice. So, this they will vibrate, okay. So, its potential energy and kinetic energy will change. Okay. So, due to this heat, this potential energy of this lattice and kinetic energy of the lattice point will change, right. So, that is why it is they are absorbing heat in terms of this vibration of the lattice points. That means the changing of the kinetic energy and potential energy. This one may be the source of this source of contribution in CV, okay. Or other way we can tell this, when we supply heat to the system, that systems having this lattice points. So, lattice points are vibrating. So, its kinetic and potential energy is changing. So, its internal energy is changing. So, due to this internal change, that is manifest as a this specific heat. Okay. And the second contribution, this, so atoms have electrons, right, atoms have electrons, right. So, in case of especially metal, so there are free electron, there are some free electron. So, from this electron, so electron's kinetic energy will change, right, when we will supply heat energy. So, its kinetic energy will change. So, it can contribute to the CV, right. So, this lattice vibration, and this is free electron can contribute to the system because of heat, because they will change their energy by kinetic energy or potential energy, in terms of kinetic energy or potential energy. And third is very important point, another point is just phase change. You are familiar of phase change means from one phase to going from one phase to another phase. Okay. Like this, it can be structural phase, thermal phase change, like ice and water. Okay. So, this phase change is at 0 degree centigrade, right, ice. So, it is phase change from ice to water. Okay. In this time what happens? Normal time you are supplying energy to the system and its energy changes, temperature changes. So, to change 1 degree temperature, how much energy I need to supply. So, that is specific heat, right. Now, when phase change is there happens, ice to water or water to ice, that happens at 0 degree centigrade, and at this temperature you are supplying heat, but there is no change of temperature, right. So, it absorbs temperature. So, that energy is spent for this phase change. So, in this case that how much amount of heat we require to change this phase change, that is called latent heat. So, that you know, but one thing is clear, that when there is a phase change, it is that point at that temperature, it is different from the other temperature. So, at that temperature we need more heat, to change 1 degree temperature, right, than the other point. So, what happens, that phase change, so their CV will be high, because to change 1 degree temperature I need higher energy, right. So, CV will be high when this phase change occurs, and there are different kind of phase change. This is one example. Another example, magnetic phase change, paramagnetic to para to ferro, right, para to ferro. So, that phase change occurs at Curie temperature Tc, at a particular temperature Tc. Okay. So, at this point, this specific heat will be different than the other temperature, other point. So, you will get basically smooth variation of as a function of temperature. If you see the CV, so its variation is generally like this. For all the metal it is like this, okay. For all the metal it is like this. So, at a So, after a certain temperature, it is constant. It is constant, and this value is generally it is 3 R, or R is 2 Kelvin per degree temperature per mole. Okay. So, R is 2 Kelvin. So, it is 6 Kelvin, it is 6 Kelvin. So, after above a certain temperature, it is constant, Cv is constant, okay, and this value is more or less 6 Kelvin per degree per mole for all solids, okay, even for gas molecules also, right. So, at higher temperature it is constant, but at lower temperature it depends on temperature, So, how it depends on temperature? So, that is our interest to study, and so this for normal material, normal solids, if there is no phase change. So, this type of CVT curve we get, but when phase change occurs, so at that particular temperature, either 0 degree or Tc whatever, at that particular temperature this Cv become high, it's become high. So, it's become like this curve become like this. So, then from this Cv measurement as a function of temperature, one can identify the phase change of the system, and at which temperature this one can find out. So, that is why the Cv measurement of a system as a function of temperature is very important to study the phase change of the system, either it is magnetic phase change or structural phase change, right. So, order disorder in alloy, generally your atoms are arranged orderly. Now, if you change the temperature or decrease the temperature, it goes from order state to disorder state. So, that is also another kind of phase change. Okay. So, these things one can study from this Cv measurement. Okay. So, that is the importance of this specific heat. So, or you can say that studying the thermal properties of solid, we can get many information about the solid, and specifically one information about the phase change. This is very unique method to identify, to study or to identify the phase change in the system. Now, here this is the typical curve. This is the typical. Now forget this phase change. So, this is this does not occur for all systems. So, this is the for particular system. So, we will use when we need, but for in general the specific heat curve is like this. Okay. Specific heat curve is like this. Now, so how the Cv depends on temperature. So, that is now topics to explain, and lot of effort was put to explain this temperature dependence of specific heat. So, first the Dulong-Petit they try to explain, but so they explain that that this specific heat is constant, it is independent of temperature, and they found this Cv value is 3 R, okay, equal to approximately 6 Kelvin per mole per degree. Okay. So, what they did? So, it is known that the solid is made of atoms. Atoms are arranged in the solid. Okay. So, they considered that this atom, okay, in solids. So, they oscillate. So, they oscillate, okay. So, it is like a spring mass system, you know, this harmonic oscillator spring mass system. So, they oscillate with respect to this. So, they just go here, so it go here. So, that means it expand, okay, come here, and then it's, so this way it oscillates with respect to this, it oscillates. Okay. So, spring is extended and spring is compressed. So, if spring strength is, it is called spring constant if it is F. So, this force per unit length. So, for unit expansion or compression, if this force is required, F amount of force is required. Okay. So, when it is extended up to this, say x, just extended, and then if you leave it, just withdraw your force. So, if you hold it here, so you will feel restoring force acting in this negative direction. If it is the positive direction of x, so how much force, restoring force? No, for per unit this is F, and then F x will be for x extension. So, F x will be force. Okay. So, that is the force, restoring force, and it is towards negative direction, right, negative direction, right. So, Newton's second law, F equal to this. Okay. So, if this mass is m, say m d2 x by dt square, that will be minus f x. So, f by m I can take this other side. So, this I can put this side. So, this will be equal to 0. So, now f by m, if I define omega equal to square root of f by m. So, this I can put as a omega square. Okay. So, this is the equation of simple harmonic motion. So, this one can find out due to this motion what is the kinetic energy, what is the potential energy, one can find out. So, potential energy will be half k x square, half f x square, and kinetic energy will be half m v square. So, v you can write dx by dt whole square. Okay. So, that will be the energy of this oscillator, kinetic energy plus potential energy. So, one can find out the form from here. So, solution of this kind of harmonic oscillation is one can write e to the power I omega t, right, or one can write a cos omega t plus b sin omega t. Okay. So, a cos omega t plus b sin omega t, right, b sin omega t, right. So, these are standard. Okay. So, one can find out the kinetic energy and potential energy. So, your potential energy will be half m omega square x square. Okay. So, from here if it is, so these are basically x equal to this, So, twice if you differentiate, so omega square comes. So, half m omega square f is there, half m omega square, what will be the, so x, so twice if I integrate, so omega square will come out, right, half k x square, half f so half f omega square. Okay. So, omega square is basically your half k x square. No, if I am not differentiating it. So, it is kinetic energy half k x square, x value is here. So, one can one can use this. So, F one can replace by m omega square, okay. Omega square equal to F by m. So, F equal to so that is why I was writing. So, this part half m omega square x square, right, and this is half m v square. So, here just my intention is that energy is having one part is kinetic energy and another part is potential energy, right. So, that is the energy of each harmonic oscillator, So, how many I have such oscillators? So, n oscillators are there. So, its energy are E, right. So, now this now energy is E. So, E can vary to 0 to infinity, okay, because oscillators are oscillating, right. So, it can oscillate with any energy 0 to infinity. So, and how this energy? So, energy of all particles are not, all oscillators are not same, it can have any value between 0 to infinity. Now, how so among the n number of particles, so n one number of particle have some energy, one particular energy. So, say E 1 and n 2 number of particle have energy E 2, etc., etc. So, energy are distributed among this n number of particles. How it is distributed? So, that is the Boltzmann Maxwell-Boltzmann statistics, right. So, energy is distributed among the particles. So, this is controlled by this factor if E by k b t, okay. This is the Boltzmann factor, okay. So, Boltzmann factor. So, I can write this. So, what is the total energy of your system? If total energy of our system, so energy of particle of one particle E, it is multiplied with this factor E by kBT, right. Now, if I integrate, this energy can vary 0 to infinity, 0 to infinity, right, and over d, integrate over d. So, if I integrate 0 to infinity in that range, so I will get total energy of my system for n. So, system contains n number of particles. So, or harmonic oscillator. So, I will get total energy of n number of particles. So, now I have to divide by this, I have to divide by the total number of particle. So, it is n. So, that one can get integrating just this factor 0 to infinity. So, it has to give n, because that is the restriction for our system. So, total energy has to be this, okay. So, then I will get average energy of each oscillator, right. So, that is the way one find out the average energy of the oscillator, okay. So, from here if you do this, so you have two part, kinetic energy and potential energy, and if you put this, replace this E by kinetic energy and potential energy of a harmonic oscillator, and if you do this integration, so simply you will get this equal to kT, okay. So, that is basically equipartition law comes from here. So, each particle have potential energy and kinetic energy. So, each particle can vibrate, okay, in any direction of this 3 mutually perpendicular direction. So, it has 3 degrees of freedom. So, for each degrees of freedom, this energy is half kT, okay. So, for 3 degrees of freedom, this energy is 3 by 2 kT, that is for kinetic energy, and that is also for potential energy. Okay. So, total for a one particle you will get the energy 3 kT, because it has 3 degrees of freedom. So, kinetic energy half kT and potential energy half kT. So, total is kT. So, for each degrees of freedom it is kT. Okay. But remember, half of it is for kinetic and half of it for potential. So, 3 degrees of freedom. So, 3 kT energy will get. Okay. So, average energy. So, here n number of particle we have considered. So, it will give kT. If you do integration, you will get kT. So, now kT, now I have 3 number of particle, n number of particles, each particle have 3 degrees of freedom. So, total energy of the system will be E equal to 3 n, and for each degrees of freedom this energy is kT, So, whatever here average energy we are getting, so that is basically for each degrees of freedom, that is the energy. Okay. Now, if you integrate, so I am writing E here. So, earlier I have used U, internal energy, or Q. Okay. So, that is the, so instead of U I am writing E now. Okay. So, your del E by del T at constant V of your system. So, that is CV, that is basically CV, and that you will get 3 n k, and n k is nothing but R, this 3 R. Okay. So, we are getting this CV, we are getting this CV for 1 gram mole of solid is 3 R. Okay. So, that is basically it is a Dulong-Pettit law, and it tells that kinetic energy specific heat is independent of temperature, but that is not true. Experiment it is found it should be like this. So, Dulong-Pettit law only can explain the specific heat at higher temperature. At lower temperature it cannot explain. So, then Einstein came forward and tried to find out what is the difficulties, what is the drawbacks of this model, and he give then again another model to explain the specific heat at lower temperature. So, that we will discuss in next class. So, I will stop here. Thank you.